Thank you. And now it's the time for announcements. I'm going to give you some announcements at this time. Firstly, by Father's grace, the 2024 Passion Week special services were concluded in grace with today's Day of Passion special service. And so through these special services, I received much grace, and we think about the love of the cross and the grace of redemption through this Passion Week special service. Let us give a round of glorious applause to God the Father. And this Passion Week was held with an unprecedented confrontation with the breakaway side, and especially with Wednesdays and Thursdays, they were inevitably interrupted due to the breakaway side's gatherings. But despite this, there are people who kept their places of worship and guarding, and I sincerely want to thank you. And in the midst of all of this, our 4,000 member choir, and a lot of people have come early. They came early and prepared. And they gave praise to God, and I really want to thank them. And also for the guardians at the front gate to ensure a worship service that was conducted safely. And I want to also thank them as well. And so we finish off the special Passion Week services today, and starting with tomorrow, it is going to be the end of Lent of 2024, which ends tomorrow. And Lent and Passion Week are both preparation periods for Easter. So if we have prepared spiritually through Lent and Passion Week to become believers who participate in the glory of resurrection, then we can say that church cleaning which is conducted every year on Saturday before Easter, it is like a physical preparation. So this is a physical preparation to prepare for Easter. And Jesus also cleaned the temple. That was the first thing he did after entering Jerusalem. And with that mindset, the male ministers, since Monday of this week, they have been cleaning the founding pastor's residence. And so not just cleaning, but there's a lot of places around the church that have not been able to be cleaned up, like waste. So starting from tomorrow, we have to check every corner of sanctuaries here and there to make sure that even the waste can just all be removed, the trash. So for that to happen, we would like many believers, the saints, to come out tomorrow. And we must realize that cleansing the temple is a time of grace to cleanse our faith. So we must come out to participate without fail. And he looks upon our efforts and our state of cleanliness. And so let us be and have that kind of heart. And also, finally, we have to prepare for the Easter Lord's Day. And we are going to prepare for the communion during the third service. And so even though last Lord's Day was Palm Sunday, the breakaway side, they disrupted worship starting at 6 a.m. And as there is currently no injunction prohibiting the obstruction, so like entering to church, for example, all these materials are being now prepared and submitted to the court. And there are many elderly saints and even the young children who came out to worship. So they were trying to come in, but they felt this like physical pressure from the crowds, and they had to wait for a long time. And they couldn't come into church, and they simply returned home due to the interference of the breakaway side. So I would like at this time to express my sincere apologies to all the saints who suffered. Last Friday, there was a notice of obstruction from the breakaway side through the police. We got the notice on Friday. And there's probably going to be one around tonight. And there was an opinion to move the Easter Sunday worship online. And last week was Palm Sunday. But our founding pastor, more than any other time or feast, especially starting with Palm Sunday and to Easter Sunday, Lord's Day, the time where he poured out his heart the most. And so sometimes we have to avoid it, confrontation, sometimes we have to face it head on. And Passion Week, which begins on Palm Sunday, there's a church feast that must be observed absolutely, and even more so in this way for Easter. So we don't know what kind of disruption may occur this time, but we have to prepare. So there are those who can come early to sleep at church and come before 6 a.m. So we are allowing vehicles to enter the church. And so the police have also promised strong action this time. And though it seems to be a confrontational situation with the breakaway side, this is Satan's tactics to prevent the saints of Pyungkang from observing Easter. So no matter what obstacles there are, we have to participate in the Lord's resurrection. So no matter what obstacles there may be, we have to be those Pyungkang saints who have the victory of resurrection. Please believe this. So during the third service, we have to have and participate in the Holy Communion. So in short, it is a time where the covenant was renewed, made in blood. So just like how you go to the bank and you need this like public certificate and it's not renewed, which is you have to renew it every year. And the same way, through the communion, if the covenant has to be renewed. So if we are not taking part in the communion, so it's as if we are regressing back into the faith before 2024. And when we make that promise of participating in the Holy Communion, then we have to believe that that grace will be with us. So if you are a saint, without fail, you must take part. And at that time, we have to completely close the front gate. So it is completely sealed, and when we lock it, they cannot come in. And it's not just taking the bread and the wine, starting with worship. We have to be prepared for that worship. And through the worship, we must have our hearts be prepared even before that. So without even one saint missing, we need to have all the saints take part in the communion. We must close the front gate. This is mandatory. And we have to make sure, and don't worry about anything else. There are those who are worried about guarding the front gate. But what is more important that night or that day is the communion. So as you take part in the Holy Communion, please believe that you will have a renewed covenant of the blood. So please take part without missing. And to give other announcements at this time, the cleaning will start at 9 a.m. tomorrow, starting in Moriah Sanctuary. And after cleaning the Moriah Sanctuary, we're asking everyone to clean second round of their departments. And this Lord's Day, second service, will be the Thanksgiving Easter worship service. And then third service will be the Holy Communion service. And we ask everyone who's part of the preparation committee to be prepared. And also on that day, there's the infant baptism, and entrance of the church. It will happen after second service at Jehoshaphat Sanctuary. And the entrance to getting prepared for that is in the education hall, third floor, after second service. And there is a stewards meeting, which will happen this Sunday after third service, and it's regarding accounting settlements, and it will happen at Moriah Sanctuary. The pastors, elders, ordained deacons, women's ministry officers, and department leaders, and also there will be a bazaar for the children's ministry from ages 0 to 13. They're asking donations for that age group, and you can donate from April 1st, Monday, to the 21st, which is Lord's Day.